Hello, beautiful friends. We are going to continue on our pathway to emotional health today. And I want to talk about some things concerning your life and even past events because when you become emotionally healthy, you actually have transformed your past. And let me explain to you what that means. When it's transformed, it means that you can have the memory. Something may bring the memory up, something may happen that causes you to remember it. But when that memory is transformed, there is no pain to it. You remember it, but the pain is gone. And you really get to the place where you never ever think about it unless something happens to bring it up. But you know you're healed when that thing brings no pain to you. So emotional health means dealing with your past and transforming your past. As you do that, and it's a process, you're not going to transform your whole past in one day. Just doesn't happen. As you do that, you're actually reshaping your present. Because when that is transformed, my present is totally reshaped. I have a different mindset, a different outlook. I have joy and peace because I'm healed from that and I'm not stuck in that past thing, which triggers me and causes me to act the same way I did back then. I'm free of it. So you reshape your present. And then the third thing you're doing by becoming emotionally healthy is you're creating your future that will be full of joy and fulfillment. Remember last week I said our emotions were given to us by God so that we have fulfillment in our relationships and joy in our relationships and joy within myself, fulfillment with myself. So these three things: we transform the past, we reshape our present right now, and we're creating our future. And this is why we want to be on the journey to emotional health. And this is why it's so important to love yourself, because if you don't really love yourself, then you do not want to sit down and deal with any of those things that have been painful to you. We'd like to shut them out. But because God loves us so much and He really wants us healthy, sometimes He will use events to bring these things up, and they're flags for us to notice so that we can step into a pathway of healing. All right, I was thinking about this week. How much time do we spend every day brushing our teeth, washing our face, fixing our face, washing our hair, fixing our hair? And I know women spend more time than men, but we spend time on these things every day and lots of other things every day. Those that I listed are really pertaining to the body, and they're important. But how much time are we spending every day working on our emotional health? And I hope that as a wake-up call, because you know what? We need to spend time on it every day. Because when Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself, He means that we must love ourselves first. Therefore, we're not needy. Therefore, we have an overflow of love to give away to others in a healthy way. So I want you to begin to take an inventory of the things you're spending your time on, and do you allow time and make time for you to spend on your emotional health? Now, last week we talked about 1 Corinthians 13, and I got a lot of great responses on that. And that just makes my heart so happy, because love is the superpower of heaven. Love is what heals us, and it's His love to us first, and then our love to ourselves before we can ever do anything with anyone else. And it's really kind of gotten twisted up in religion, because we're always busy thinking, well, I got to do this and I got to do that to prove out my Christianity. No, we've got to walk in this love relationship with ourselves and with Yahweh. But one of the first things I said last week is we have to realize who we are. What are your abilities? What are your capabilities? What are your talents, your gifts? What are you good at? Who are you within your being if you're not doing anything? Because you have to be before you can really do in the kingdom. When I was in my 20s, as I told you before, I was very emotionally unhealthy. And I had this radio on in the car, and there was a program on. I don't even know how I got on this listening to it, but it was kind of a counseling program, and the lady was talking, and she said, I want you to find 3 things about yourself that are really good. I had never even thought of this. I'm pretty sure I was busy tearing myself down most of the time and condemning myself because my whole life was a wreck at that point. And I remember that day because I believe it was a turning point. She said, find 3 things that are good within you. You know, Yahweh created you out of perfection. Your true identity is his original intent, and it is beautiful. So that is one thing I want to challenge you to do this week. Find at least 3 things about yourself that you like about yourself, that you know that you are good at, and begin to shift focus off of condemnation or negativity. Shift all your focus on the things you think God has created in you that is good. When the other negative things come up, just let that go. Turn your attention away from it and into the positive things that he has put within you, because they are there. Last week I said awareness is a major key, and I want to talk about this just a moment. You want to be aware of who you are, and finding those 3 things or more is a step. You want to be aware of where you want to be, because if you don't spend any time thinking on that, you stay in this pattern that repeats itself over and over. And that is called going around the mountain 5,000 times and never getting off of it. I hate that. I do not want to be on that path. I want to always have set before me where I want to be, even now and forever, because it says the increase of his government and peace, there will be no end. That means there's always an increase coming. And then number 3, along with that awareness, is the willingness to work to make the changes. Now, I want to tell you, to get emotionally healthy, it requires work, it requires change. It is worth it though. And look, you know what? If you don't give it the work and work towards the changes, and you're not even aware of yourself or where you want to be, you are left to random. Whatever happens in your life, I do not want to be left to random, and I don't want you to be either. And that's why I'm sharing these things with you. Okay, so on this pathway, I want to share with you this week kind of learning to regulate our emotions, because we can learn to regulate them even as we're in the process of being healed from past events. So to regulate them, there's a couple of things you want to know. You are a body, you are a soul, you are a spirit. Your soul is what connects your spirit with your body, but your body is speaking to you, and you want to pay attention to it. When your body is communicating, I want to say it like that, it's communicating to you, and you want to start recognizing the clues and the cues that your body is giving you. Within your body, this is scientific, you have interceptors. And these it's actually a receptor, and it's in like the internal organs of your body. You can look this up, interceptors in the body, receptors in the body. They're also called the viscera. Some of you probably know more about this than me, but anyway. So your internal organs, your gut, the things within you, your stomach, they may be trying to communicate to you. I remember in my 20s, one time I lost 16 pounds in 2 weeks. I was so emotionally distraught and upset, and my body was speaking to me, but no one had said these things to me. I did not know any of these things, so I'm just stuck in it. And this is what I want and desire, is to help people get out of that kind of a pattern. It's a terrible way to live. Here's some other ways our body speaks to us. Tension, sleep disturbance, dramatic weight change, a very short fuse. It's like something happens, you just blow up. Oh, I used to live like that, thank God, and all the rest of my family, thanks God, I don't live there anymore. Stomach problems, headaches, lack of energy, isolation. People, we want to isolate, we just want to sit in our own self because we're so distraught. Erratic mood swings or compulsive and obsessive behavior. We don't really know why we're doing this over and over, but we're just compelled to do it. Those can be signs and signals that your body is giving to you. And we want to become mindful of these things so that we can shift out of that, because they're coming from negative emotions. So here is the tool for today. I think this is so cool, and it just popped into my mind from the Lord. You know, when a person is on fire, like physically on fire, their body, their clothes, they're on fire, what are the three things they say to do? Stop, drop, and roll. So I want you to see in your mind's eye a person that they've caught on fire, but they're not doing this. And they're running around and they're screaming and waving their hands and they're running. I'm on fire, I'm on fire, I'm on fire. And they're screaming bloody murder because they're on fire. They do not know to stop, drop, and roll. And guess what happens to them? They self-destruct. The same thing happens when your emotions are raging and we don't know how to stop, drop, and roll. We run around saying, I'm so mad. My blood's boiling. Have you ever felt like that? I did a long time ago. I would be so angry. I would feel my blood boiling. I hate that feeling. Or I am just so scared. I'm scared to death. I'm so fearful, or I'm so depressed. And we just repeat this. It's the same thing as running with the fire burning on our body, but we don't stop, drop, and roll to put it out. So here is how you want to stop, drop, and roll with your emotions. Number one is stop. First, recognize the signals. Am I angry? Am I full of anxiety? Am I full of fear? Am I full of depression? This is a signal that I need to stop. I want to recognize this symbol. If it's a situation that's really like combative or something, remove yourself from it and get alone. This is the stopping. You want to get alone with yourself, even if it's 5 minutes. And I want to share with you to do this. Begin a breathing technique, because your brain waves are heightened if you're in this kind of a circumstance. And so when you do a breathing technique, it will actually slow down your brain waves. Go in the bathroom, shut the door, breathe in deep through your nose, hold it 4 or 5 counts, and let it out. Now, first thing we're thinking is we need to set our mind on the Lord, which we do. But, sometimes you're so upset, you can't even think about the Lord at the moment. And if you'll slow your brain waves down, it'll help you shift to the next step. So if you feel yourself just raging, stop, get alone, and breathe in, hold it, and let it out, and do that for at least 5 minutes. 10 minutes might be better. Don't even try to think. Just think of counting. Just think of the breathing. Once you have done the breathing and slowed yourself down, next is drop. This is how I see this. Drop down into your inner man, your spirit man, where your true self lives, the origin of who God made you to be, his original intent. You're going to drop into that, and you're just going to be still. Your internal man is your true self. It's who Yahweh created you to be. It is his original intent. And when you are dropping down into your true self, you're setting yourself apart from that circumstance. Because you don't have any wisdom or knowledge or good thing to know what to do with that circumstance until you drop down into your inner man, your original self that is in union with Yahweh, and get into that place and hold yourself still. And this would be where you could do 1 Corinthians 13 and see the love of Yahweh to yourself, and you love yourself. Because guess what? His love is not based on your emotional condition. You can be running around like a man on fire and then stop and go down into your inward man, and his love is the same for you as it was when you were on your best day full of peace. Nothing wrong happened. It's the same. We want to learn how to live in that. Now, after you drop into your inward man, you're going to begin to roll these cares onto Yahweh. He cares. Now, rolling your cares on him does not necessarily mean you never do anything. It's not passive, but it means you are being still. You're rolling this onto him, and you're listening and receiving what his plan is, what his thought is, what his word is, or what his action would be. And you must be still and roll this over onto him so that you can actually hear what he is saying, which is always the best way. The reason he wants us walking in his ways is because he loves for us to live in peace and joy and the confidence that he is with us and giving us plans. So your body definitely speaks to you, and words have power. Has anyone ever started speaking to you and they're lashing out at you and cussing you out? Can you feel your body reacting? It's like all your waters are getting stirred up. You're so upset the way they're talking to you. The same thing is true about yourself and how you talk to yourself. This is why it's so important to speak to yourself, 1 Corinthians 13, and other things that are true and right and lovely that come from the Lord to us. They are what shift us. They are what transform our past, reshape our present, and give us the ability to create our future. So I want you to pay attention this week to your body. How is it speaking? I want you to speak 1 Corinthians 13 to yourself. I want you to stop, drop, and roll. And then I want you to know that this week, the verse I want to end with is John 15:9. It says, "As the Father loved me, I also have loved you. Abide in my love." As the Father has loved Jesus, Jesus loves me. I abide in his love. Have we ever doubted the Father loved Jesus? No. But sometimes we can doubt he loves us. But this verse says, the same way the Father loved Jesus, the same way Yahweh loved Yeshua, is how he loves us. And we are supposed to abide in that love. That means sit down in it, be still in it. And that's kind of what you do when you're dropping down. You're abiding in his love. So I want to bless you this week. I pray for you to have the courage to embrace emotional health, the courage to deal with anything that Yahweh is revealing to you, the courage to transform your past, the courage to reshape your present, and the courage to create a better future. I love you all, and I bless you. Thank you for watching. And I want to ask you to please share this with people. It is like my heart for everyone to receive emotional health. I love you, and I bless you, and I'll see you next week.